Wonderful. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Vault Hours number 50. It's wild. It's that we've had 50 of these. I've been at Bitwarden for 4 years and have been member of many of these back when they were first run by just Gary, just having them simply as a way to talk to the community. And yeah, it's we've definitely grown a lot since then. We have a whole team of Vault Tower regulars. Myself is on as your primary host today. We have several co-hosts. We have Cy joining us, Vivian, Adam, and Chris. Each of us with our own respective sessions. But this is really something for us to talk. This is really an open discussion with everybody here, and I probably should have move the agenda first. But yeah, this is an open discussion for everybody. If you have something you want to say, come on. We're happy to answer questions, have a discussion. If you say you want to come on and actually get on camera, you're welcome to do so as well. But we're also monitoring the chat and also the Q&A sections over on the sides here. So our agenda for today, we're going to go through any initial questions that anybody has. If you have any burning questions that you just want to say or yell at us, whatever, happy to go through those first so that we don't have to, get that off your mind so we can look at some of the other stuff. And then we're going to go through the other items in our agenda, which is, looking back through some of the years, staying safe during tax season, ISO certification, generative AI and how it supercharges phishing, and then, of course, questions of the community. And so we'll start with that. We'll start first with initial questions, then we'll get into some of the other fun things that we're doing. So if you have any questions, burning questions, anything off the top of your head, again, feel free to put them in chat or on the Q&A over on the side of the window. I guess camera that way. We'll be monitoring that and giving responses. But if nobody has anything to say right now, we're celebrating Vault Hours 50 with a giveaway. We're going to be giving away some specific items from the Bitwarden store. There's a rule for this. So what you have to do to enter into the giveaway, it's a drawing. Visit bitwarden.com/shop, hit the contact form, and in there, you're going to put the keyword. So you're going to put the keyword inside of that. Use your email address that you want to be contacted with, because we'll give you information on shipping and stuff should you win one of the prizes. And with the keyword, that it helps us indicate which one you're signing up for. Everyone is eligible, even past Vault Hours giveaway winners. So if you've been on here, we do usually give away at the end of all of our Vault Hours. If you've already won something there, you are eligible for some of these new ones. And however, there are going to be 6 giveaways, and you can only win once. So just for the sake of the folks who might be watching in different time zones, we're not going to do a live drawing. It's going to be distributed 24 hours, actually probably Monday, considering, we're not going to be looking at it over the weekend. But ideally, you'll have 24 hours from the event end to enter. So people who are watching the recording, don't worry. If you're still relatively soon from when the recording was done, you may still be eligible. Go ahead and email to try to get in. All right. And with that, we're going to do our first giveaway. So I'm going to leave the screen up for a little bit. So go to bitwarden.com/shop. Go over to the contact form and enter keyword glass to receive or to enter to win this beautiful shield glass with lid and straw. So it's a metal straw and it's glass and it looks like a cork top. Looks pretty fancy. We're coming up on summer. That would look great with some ice and some juice in it, maybe a little cocktail. So go ahead and enter there. Just going to give it a few moments while I sip my coffee. All right, so let's go ahead and look at our first subject. The big one is, talk about Vault Hours 50. We are looking back on some things. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened in even just the last 2 years. So just want to hear from you, and then also from all my co-hosts, what is your new favorite feature that has been added to Bitwarden? I actually am going to throw up a poll that I have, just a couple of things and a nice other. If you have other, please put it in chat. Email alias integration, SSO trusted devices, saving passkeys, which passkey management, login with device. That's my personal favorite. That way I don't have to enter my master password when I'm logging into my browser extension or on other devices. And login device is now available on every other client, so it's really cool. Account switching, inline autofill. Anything else? Anyone else? The co-hosts. Anyone have anything to say about that?
I'll pop in here. One of my favorites has actually been the QR code reader in the browser extension. So now I don't have to use a separate device in order to grab that QR code off my screen and add in my TOTP. I find that a super handy feature. I don't know about everybody else, but I try to use TOTP everywhere, and that makes it really easy for me. So big improvement that I've been happy about.
I think along those same lines, I love the new feature of the TOTP code popping up in the autofill menu, so you can just choose and click without having to paste it in. So especially when you're dealing with multiple accounts and multiple TOTP codes per website, makes it super easy and tells you when it's going to expire. So anyway, it's a
You know, what's
little
really
one that
cool
I
about
like.
that one, Adam, about how you don't have to paste, you can also go into your Bitwarden settings and even turn off the copy to clipboard in the first place. So that way you can completely bypass the clipboard, and you never have to worry about having your clipboard cleared. Because some people who are very security minded like to have their clipboard cleared after something is automatically added to it. But you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I would like the second TOTP autofill. It's beautiful. It works really well. Super convenient and super secure.
Mine is Bitwarden Send. I have used Bitwarden Send for a lot of important transactions. I went through a name change process where I had to work with an agency to help me get that name change, official name change, legal name change. Had to send them all of my very highly sensitive documentation and information. And so I use Bitwarden Send to do all of that. So I love it.
And actually, we're going to have a segment on Bitwarden Send here soon. How many of you Bitwarden employees use your standalone authenticator app? I do.
I do. I use it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that was a fun thing that came out as well. Argon 2. I mean, it is a feature. It was added to Bitwarden as a feature, and actually, I have a little comment about that coming up in the feature slide. But yeah, Argon 2 is a cool one, and we are looking at making that the default. Because right now we're still in PBKDF2 as per NIST standards. Before we move on, I did see we had a question pop up here. What work is being done to evaluate and move towards quantum resistant encryption? The Bitwarden standard for this is that Bitwarden is using industry standard encryptions, but we have set up our encryption model to be modular. So if when a new encryption model is adopted as the standard that everybody should be using, we'll be able to swap it out pretty quick. At the moment, we are not doing anything independently for quantum resistant encryption. So whenever the institutions and everyone says, hey, this is the best, we're gonna drop it right in. So that's ready to go. Oh, yeah, it looks like Nasser already answered that. Are there plans to streamline the generate alias feature? A competitor has done this well. It asks if you want to generate email alias when signing up to services. I know at the moment there isn't any like right now. There are some plans for it in the future, but at the moment we're it's in the maintain cycle. You'll probably I haven't seen anything pop up on the roadmap specifically that would be improving that process. So unless there's something that's broken at the moment, that's gonna kind of persist as it is. But don't worry, it'll be looked into. And if you have any suggestions, or if you want to make some suggestions or some pull requests, feel free to go look at the code and submit on the GitHub. All right, moving on. What were memorable community topics? This is fun. You usually find me lurking around on our subreddit. That's usually where I spend most of my time. And there are some fun things that pop up. Um, one of the most interesting things was harkening back, considering that Bitwarden had a recent UI change. 3 years ago, I remember the Civil War that started over just simply changing the lock icon when your Bitwarden extension is locked from red to black. And the red was pretty obnoxious, and the black, was a little bit more streamlined, but sometimes harder to point out. There were really good arguments on both sides, but yeah, most people did have arguments, and over time, everyone's gotten used to it, and I haven't seen anyone say anything recently about wanting the icon to be different. Kind of in a similar vein. 3 years ago, a lot of people were complaining about the Bitwarden UI. Some community members even took it upon themselves of creating their own skins for Bitwarden or their own clients. People have always complained about the Bitwarden user interface. We have had some new changes that were introduced to the extension and also the mobile apps. And, after the initial change shock, a lot of people have given out their love for the new UI after spending some time with it. So yeah, it's always interesting. The community sometimes should be temperamental. This was a fun one from just a month ago. Reminds me back of there was an episode of Archer where this happened. This person says, "I got too drunk and reset my master password. I have no idea why I did it." He ended up, I believe this user ended up having to export what they could and then create a new vault, which, unfortunately, Bitwarden, well, fortunately and unfortunately, we're end-to-end encrypted. So that offers a lot of wonderful safe security and privacy. However, that means your password cannot be reset by Bitwarden services. So if you lose your master password, you basically lose your access.
Ryan, someone had a question in chat about entering the giveaway code.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Something to do with enter the giveaway guide.
So
Yes, no, that is correct, JJ. So just go to bitwarden.com/shop, and then in the contact form, just enter code GLASS for that first giveaway.
It could work if they just say, coming from Vault Hours too, right? Does it have to be?
You can say coming from Vault Hours, whatever you wish to say. I'm pretty sure our
Connected to Vault Hours.
yeah, our shop person is well aware of what's coming. So if she gets just a bunch of emails that just say nothing but glass in there, I think she'll understand what's going on. Let's see. The only thing that gets me lately is I'm so used to just clicking the saved login and not used to hitting fill. Well, you know what? I've got something cool for you. We're going to be coming up on that one in the future. So don't worry. We're going to get to that one. Let's see. Oh, did I go over this one? Oh, yeah. So here are a couple of community topics. These are actually posted by our CTO and founder, Kyle, who launched Bitwarden, 7 years ago on Reddit and in some of the community forums as an open source tool. And, now here we are today. But he made a couple of these announcements pretty recently. The first one was the precursor to the design refresh in the user interface, in which he announced a preview. So a lot of people got a lot of access to the preview ahead of time and gave feedback. One of the items of feedback that came in was that the fill button that was added was too large, and so we were asked to make that smaller, which was some feedback that we took to heart. And so we did that. And then 5 months ago, we also announced that the Bitwarden mobile app was also going native, which was it really only 5 months ago? Man, feels like a lot of time has happened between here and there. Where we had moved from the Maui application to the native languages for both Android and for iOS. So that's Kotlin and Swift. So that was a big effort that might have come with some UI updates as well, but hopefully noticeably performance improvements across the entire Android and iOS spectrum. And then Argon 2, yeah, we talked about this. Argon 2 support was added. This was a big community discussion. So the community for a long time had been asking for Argon 2 for a little bit of history, and Argon 2 was introduced, I think, 5 to 7 years ago as a winner. It was like an algorithm that was put together by, I believe, some institution. You have to look it up on Wikipedia, but it had won a contest, and it was basically being widely adopted as a new key derivation function for Argon 2 for creating a master key for encryption out of a master password. And this is supposed to be harder to hack for GPU-based attacks. So it fills up their memory, and then they just can't do it quickly. And really, really cool technology in the background and how it works. So Bitwarden added Argon 2 support, and it has a lot of settings in there that a lot of people might not be aware of. And the community and the team went back and forth, and we found a happy medium of of default settings, which most people in the community agree are the most optimal correct settings, balancing performance and security and safety. If you have these settings turned up too high, your device might lock up. I know on some devices, like on iOS, if it runs out of memory, the application will crash when you're trying to autofill. So this setting that we have is the perfect sweet spot. And this came from a community PR. So Bitwarden had looked at Argon 2. We just hadn't gotten around to putting it on the roadmap. But a community member went and said, "Hey, you know what? I really like this," and submitted a PR. It was reviewed and it was put in. And so we already gave lots of credit and thank you for that person. But it's wonderful that the community is able to contribute like that. This was a fun one, and maybe we can get some discussion after this one here. 3 years ago, we had this user, and it got a lot of upvotes and discussion where someone was saying, please keep Bitwarden simple. People were asking for all these features like email alias integration, built-in username generators, and this person was saying, like why do any of that? Just focus on one thing and do it well, which is password management. And I mean, in 3 years, you can see we've added a lot of new features, a lot of which, of course, are around password management. But you can say that the state of security is a little bit more than simply just passwords, especially as passkeys are becoming more involved and developers are using SSH keys. We're implementing SSH configuration as well. So yeah, I'm curious, people in our chat, what are y'all thinking about Bitwarden? Do you think Bitwarden should stay simple, or should we add the new features that make it bigger and better? And which features would you like to see added? Just trying to get a microcosm from the chat. And you know what? I forgot to even go back and look at the poll of what everyone's favorite new feature was. And so we had 12% going for email aliases, 25% saying for passkeys. Not too many people would log in with device 0, besides myself. Inline autofill seems to be the crowd favorite. So that's cool. Yep, new features are great as long as they offer enhanced security. Difficult suggestion, but maybe off the beginner mode and advanced mode with more options. Yeah, Bitwarden is known for being like very focused on tech savvy folks, and so like some of the redesigns have been trying to help strike a better balance. One password is still regarded as being more user friendly. The user experience. Yeah, I see that. We've had some people say that they don't like that 1Password because I think the term that was used was the interface is very opinionated.
Does anybody want to come on stage and maybe talk through or share a little bit of what they're thinking? Like Daniel, I'm curious, what would you designate as beginner mode or advanced mode? Bert, it sounds like you could have a long list. So
you're welcome to type it all in chat. Don't worry. Like you're talking to the right people. Like we can get that feedback go through. At least
or raise your hand and Ryan can pull you on stage.
JJ, I believe that's true. You can look at the licensing README on our GitHub to get the clear details. All right. Well, if no one has anything else to say, we're going to move on to our next giveaway. Giveaway number 2, T-shirts. It's getting warmer, so let's get some T-shirts in here. Summer wear. I don't know if black is really the best for summer wear, but it's still a Bitwarden T-shirt and it's great. So for giveaway number 2, keyword is simple. It's T E, which T for golf. It's not a golf shirt. I don't know. I was just coming up with something to help differentiate these things. So bitwarden.com/shop contact form. You can enter. If you've already entered one, you can enter again. Keyword T. All right. Staying safe during tax season. The uniquely American issue, but really good use case for this. So I know this is something for Cy, so go ahead and take this away.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. So I'm not sure how many of you this applies to. Like Ryan said, this is a uniquely American thing, but if you are still in the process of submitting your taxes, cutting it down to the wire before you get them in, or maybe you've gotten an extension, I really wanted to highlight how Bitwarden Send is an awesome option to be able to share your tax documents securely. Um, so Bitwarden Send, if you haven't used it before, it allows you to share text or files safely and securely using the same end-to-end encryption, just like the rest of Bitwarden Password Manager. The links that you share are temporary, and you can define how long those links will be valid for. And there are also other privacy options for additional security. So if you're sharing something like maybe your W-2 as a file, you can also password protect it to make sure that only the person that you're sending it to can even open that link. If you want to click on to the next one. So just some examples like I've used in my own personal life, sharing my tax documents and information with my accountant. So if you're sharing text, you can use Send to share something like your social security number or your bank routing information or maybe some other sensitive data with that accountant or tax preparer. Man, I am just tongue tied today. Sorry, everybody. You can share things like your W-2s or 1099s, or even for those who are not U.S. based users. You can also use this for sharing information like maybe a photocopy of your passport. Any other kind of sensitive information that you might need to share, whether that's with an employer, a tax preparer, whatever you might need to do. And then something that I've done as well, because my accountant themselves, they do not have an in-house secure document or file sharing software that they use. I also requested that they leverage Bitwarden to send my finished documents back to me. So it's a great way to advocate for yourself as well, to help make sure that not only are you being safe and secure when you are sharing that information, but when others share it with you, it's a great option to recommend to others if they have something that you need.
Thank you, Sai. Anyone have any comments on Bitwarden Send? Bitwarden Send is a great tool. I use it I wouldn't say all the time because it's not that often. I just send just like all these documents around. But like I have kids' birth certificates that I need to send to someone, and it's just good to not have stuff sitting in your email, right, in your outbox. Because also too, like who knows, like when you're emailing something like medical records to a like a practice, who knows how long an item will sit in their inbox, and an insecure method.
Yeah. And something to note that Sai said is the recipient of whatever you're sending them through Bitwarden Send, they don't need to be a Bitwarden user. So I think that's just an extra plus.
Yeah, that has certainly made things really convenient, because then from my side, I don't have to ask them to download anything special. They don't have to, sign up and create an account. They just need to open the link and, input the password if I set a password.
Yeah,
So it makes it really easy on the receiving end as well.
exactly. It's annoying when you have to take extra steps.
See, Jason
Absolutely.
asked, are there plans to allow users to select more than one file and send? At the moment, I don't believe there's a plan. I know we are doing some send enhancements to simplify it a little bit to make it more streamlined, but I don't know if there's any plan to do that, because the way it works is that it's actually really cool. If you look at the hyperlink that you're given, inside the hyperlink is the cipher key that's needed to decrypt the file. That's up on the, so it's after the question mark. You'll see it on the link. I think I wrote about it in a blog once. Um, and so that's how your browser is able to decrypt the file. If we were to try and do multiple items, it would probably end up having to get zipped anyway, which is similar to how like Google
I
Drive
was,
does like downloads. So
I
like,
was
go ahead.
sorry. I was just gonna say, that's actually that is I didn't call that out, but that is actually something that I did myself. So when I shared my tax documentation, I had my W-2, I had some some information about, my mortgage interest and all. I had a few different documents that I needed to share in order for them to do my taxes. And as long as that zip file you create is less than that 500 meg limit on desktop or 100 on mobile, you can absolutely use a zip file. So that would
Hmm.
kind of be my recommendation, especially if you're not trying to share anything particularly large, is just put it in a zip and you can share it that way.
Or if you really wanted to be super secure, you can put it in a VeraCrypt file with another password protection on the file itself. For that, so just the possibilities are endless. With that, we're at giveaway number 3 now. So this one, I've been talking about summer weather, but on south of the equator, it's just getting a winter time. We have this oversized black on black shield hoodie, perfect for hackers. And the cooler weather. This is actually, it's a really cool hoodie. I don't have this one yet. I'm going to have to get it soon, maybe next winter. But yeah, keyword hoodie in the contact form. So just go ahead. But well, yeah, you know what? You can just crank down the AC. I'm just here in Texas. I'll try and get a 40-degree difference between outside and inside, no problem. Then that's hoodie weather indoors. So, yep, keyword hoodie at bitwarden.com/shop and in contact. Do I own every item in the store? No. I mean, I have several Bitwarden. I have 2 children. I have several Bitwarden onesies um, that I bought myself and have also been gifted. Lots of shirts. We actually had like an internal photo competition, which was like show off your Bitwarden swag. And I had a photo of like me wearing 6 hats, and I have this Bitwarden mug, and I had a Bitwarden water bottle inside the Bitwarden mug. Yeah, big on swag.
Oh, okay. I see. I was going to respond to you there, Joey. Thanks for getting ahead of that, Vivian. Joey had asked about Bitwarden Send, if any of it is available to the average user, i.e., consumers, not just business or professionals. So, yes. So the text sends are available for everyone, and the file sends are available for any paid plan. So whether you are a premium user, families user, or if you are with a business plan. That is available for all of those options.
All right, so I think this is your subject as well.
It is. Um, so, talking about the ISO 27001 certification. So, what is it? So, that is an international standard and framework for information security and data management. So, it's something that can increase customer trust. It often is a contributing factor. No, not .iso. It can lower your cost for cyber insurance and reduce your risk of data breaches. Becoming certified is a very rigorous process. So there are 93 different data security requirements. You have to get audited by third-party certification groups. And this is something that a lot of businesses want to do, not only for themselves. So using something like Bitwarden as your password manager can help you achieve certification. But if you want to, drum roll, please. On the next slide, we recently received our certification ourselves. So, Bitwarden security and compliance has always been based on the ISO 27001 standards, but we have now been officially certified. So that adds on top of our existing compliance with SOC 2 Type 2, GDPR, HIPAA, CCPA, and a variety of different compliance certifications. So just one more kind of checkbox there, and thank you for all the applause. This is just one more way that we help safeguard you and your data against any evolving threats and make sure that you are protected by those industry best practices.
Yeah, and this one in particular required a lot of internal controls added to our systems. So like that's reining in custom software installation on laptops. So I've lost my freedom, but we're even more secure than we have been now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jason and Vivian, to your point, yes, we do have to recertify. I think all of these have to be recertified annually, but we do also go through additional internal checks more regularly than that, as well as partnering with HackerOne to help identify any vulnerabilities we might have. So formally, we get audited at least annually, but it's a continuous process to try to make sure we're keeping you as secure as possible.
Thank you, Sai. And now we're on giveaway number 4 out of 6. A really creative keyword here, hat. This is actually a cool hat that I don't have yet. I put it here because I want it personally. This is a Golf Shield rope cap. This is the rope caps have come back. If you go to any, like, I don't know, in Austin there's lots of microbreweries around here, and everybody seems to have this style of hat. And so I have 2 of them in brewery logos, but I don't have a Bitwarden one yet. But so if you're interested in this one, bitwarden.com/shop, contact hat. I say interested in this one, but it doesn't matter. You can just enter into as many as you like, but you only win one. So this is one of them. So yeah, giveaway number 4, hat. All right, up next. Oh, let's just take a quick question check. Anyone have any questions about anything before we move on to our next subject?
People are throwing the questions in chat, so
yeah, that's fine. I see we've been answering as we go along, but we're doing great. All right, up next, Adam. I believe this is your subject.
Yeah, so this is, if you're, I saw an internal comment recently about someone being annoyed at the laziness of some phishing attempts recently. So this is for people who may be annoyed at, the obviousness of some phishing attempts. And we're all used to getting those emails in our inbox, those text messages asking us to pay, a toll to a state that we've never physically been in. But generative AI has really sort of taken things in a different direction, not only in terms of customization and personalization, but also just the speed of evolution. So from the old-timey phishing attacks where somebody might create a website with a bunch of typos and a logo file, all the way to fully custom sites that use your social media to put in tidbits about you, to fake FaceTime calls that appear to be a relative or a friend using deepfake technology. So the rate and pace of improvement in the attacker's technology has just been going at breakneck speed. So there's lots of tools out there. One of the big ones that we're seeing a proliferation of is voice cloning. You can record a 30-second audio clip and now get a pretty close representation of somebody's voice, which is easy from a social media perspective. So lots of GenAI tools that are being used out there to add industry specific data to phishing attempts, and it's really gotten a lot more difficult to discern what's real and what's not anymore. So you really have to be on the lookout. So Vivian's going to hop in now and talk about some of the things that we can do to help protect ourselves from these new attacks.
Thanks, Adam. So, over the years since I've been at Bitwarden, I've received numerous text messages from our CEO, Michael Crandell, pretending that this is a text message from Michael. I need to talk to you. It's about something important. Can you respond? And, thankfully, I've never been tricked. But with AI, I can, just imagine, 2 years ago, it was text messages, but what if I receive a call from a voice clone that sounds exactly like my CEO asking me to provide credentials for a company account, or a deep fake that convinces me to transfer funds to another bank account? And so these AI generated schemes are, as Adam mentioned, are becoming more and more realistic. And so what can we do about that? Well, a lot of this advice is similar to the stuff that we're providing right now, but still probably even more relevant now with AI generated attacks. So using multi-factor authentication, that always adds another layer of verification beyond just simple passwords. It does make it harder for attackers using deep fakes to impersonate. You can add biometric checks, hardware tokens, TOTP codes, as we talked about earlier. But basically, it means that if an attacker obtains one credential, they can't access the system without additional authentication. We talked about autofill, a lot of people's favorite features, but password managers can keep track of the URLs that you visit when you're using autofill, and it can show you an indication that the site that you're on, there's a password stored in there, and there's a little icon that pops up in the browser bar. So if for some reason you mistyped the URL or got tricked and landed on a malicious site, a malicious website, the icon will not appear in the browser extension, and that should signal to you that something is wrong. So you can't fool a password manager with a malicious URL. And then continuous monitoring, so meaning you're paying attention to your security controls and credential usage, how and when, who are accessing your credentials. So Bitwarden Enterprise Plan offers different event logs that corporate organizational admins and owners can use to look at their vault health. We also have vault health reports that for individual personal plans as well. So hopefully, if you are on one of those plans, you're using your Vault Health report to look for and identify weak or reused or exposed credentials. Finally, passkeys. So AI will definitely, as we mentioned, escalate and increase the quality and kind of the realistic aspects of phishing. So passkeys is a really good way to neutralize that phishing attempt. In and of themselves, passkeys rely on asymmetric cryptography, not biometrics. So when you're signing into an app or to a website, that site never receives any biometric data. It's just a cryptographic signature that's being passed through. And so in that sense, passkeys are very phishing resistant. So even if you are receiving a convincing AI generated message to open a phishing link, to enter your credentials, the passkey will refuse to work if that's not the correct domain. So hopefully passkeys will evolve and will become more user-friendly and more readily available. Ryan, so remember, it's security in the age of AI. It's a layered approach. It's not one size fits all. Not one single method is foolproof. So definitely encourage everyone to update and adapt to your security strategies, stay informed about emerging AI-based attacks, and also train yourself. And if you're running Bitwarden within your company, definitely train your employees to spot phishing attempts and deepfake impersonation techniques. Bitwarden internally, we run security sprints as well, and we use different tools to train our employees to be on the lookout for these attacks. That's it for me. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Vivian, and thank you, Adam, for all that. Now we're at giveaway number 5. We are getting closer to the end. This one, we have Bitwarden posters. Instead of just one, there's 2. There's actually several different posters you can choose from. You get to, I think these are actually like big posters, like bigger than my camera frame is letting me go. But if you use keyword paper, you can pick 2 styles and we'll get you these posters. So there's a couple of really cool ones. These 2 that I've listed here are probably my favorite ones. Although I think the thumbnail was broken for my favorite one, which is a rocket ship. But yeah, really cool to have around the office if you are like me and you're got your virtual area behind you because you don't like doing the blurs. Looks really good back there too. You missed the other giveaway? Don't worry, JJ. You can just go back and look at the recording. You'll find them all. All right. Next, questions from the community. So this is where we highlight a couple of questions that have come up recently. Just some answers, and also would love to hear everybody in our audience's members' feedback on some of it too. Here's one that just came up earlier, just today in our own chat. Is anyone else still clicking on the item name instead of the fill button? So as part of our UI change, there was a little bit of people getting a little bit thrown around with muscle memory, where you just click on things versus clicking on the item versus clicking on the fill button, the new fill button that also we had feedback to make smaller. So here, good news for you if you prefer the old method and you just want to just click on the item. It's really easy. You can actually do a couple of adjustments. So for example, you can set it up so that just clicking it autofills the item, and you can also bring back the split out copy buttons just by going to your settings, appearance, and then Vault customization section there. So if you open up your Bitwarden right now, which I'm sure everyone who's watching this right now has, you go over to the settings, click on that appearance, and then you have the three options there: show website icons, show quick copy actions on the Vault, that's the split out copies, and then click the items and autofill suggestion to fill. So that's yeah, so you can go back to how it used to be if you'd like. So the customizations are there for you. Okay, so I had a couple other questions that I've pulled off of the Bitwarden subreddit recently. One person, they had their answers solved, but like for sharing plan with a spouse, like which level of sharing do you want to do? There's a lot of people in the chat who were saying like, oh, you need to have like a family's plan or a premium plan. That's not actually true. You can do a sharing. You can share with someone with a free Bitwarden organization. The free organization allows you to have 2 people and 2 collections, which is perfect for sharing with just a spouse. And every account can create 1 free organization. So if you wanted to, you just create 1 free organization, you add yourself as the administrator, and then you add your spouse as the second person, and then you now have an organization in which you can share items. The one caveat here is that if you're both using the free plan, you will not be able to generate TOTP codes. But if you had at least one person with the TOTP functionality of a premium account, they can start adding items that have the TOTP code inside. The free person would not be able to generate the code though. So I do kind of wish there was a ping level between premium and family for just the 2 of us, says Jason. It used to be that way. We used to have like a much cheaper family plan option that you had to do premium as an add-on. That was just very complicated, and it caused more problems than it helped. And I think that there's some legacy folks that's going to be retired soon. But I do like that idea of like a duo plan, and I'll bring that back as some feedback. JJ says, I don't like the organization method. I think that someone else had mentioned that in chat recently. And it's just the way that Bitwarden works, and the architecture was designed for sharing, where the organization is the owner of the shared items and not a specific person. It flips a couple of other architectures on the head from some of our competitors, but you find that once you get to larger organizations of lots and lots and lots of people, having a centralized vault is a much simpler way to organize things, so it's much better for scaling. It does take a little bit of thinking around, like change how you think about it to get used to it. This person asks, how do I switch from bitwarden.com to bitwarden.eu? Some people aren't even aware of bitwarden.eu, so I just wanted to bring it up here. We do have .eu servers. They are a separate server, completely different from bitwarden.com, the US servers, so that we don't really have a way to simply migrate from one to another. So if you did want to migrate, if you do want to create an account on bitwarden.eu, you have to go create a brand new account. When you're doing so, you have to hit the drop down and select .eu. And then in the future, when you sign in, you have to make sure that you're also logging into bitwarden.eu. I think it defaults right now to .com. So if anyone is in .eu when you're logging in, make sure you also switch that option. And then it'll act like a completely new account. The 2 servers are completely disconnected from each other. So your best bet, if you wanted to migrate, is to export everything out of your .com account and then create a .eu account upload everything to the .eu, and then if you're a premium subscriber, you can contact our support team and ask for them to migrate your subscription, and they'll move the credits over from one to the other. What other country servers are on the horizon? At the moment, none. So we have bitwarden.eu. Those servers are located in Ireland and the Netherlands. And then the .com servers are on both east and west coasts of the United States. But we're not planning on having any additional servers at this time. Did the required permissions change recently, or did my PC get a virus recently? This was a big one. A lot of people, I guess, like I weren't exactly expecting this to happen. There's been some refactoring on the back end of things on how Bitwarden does some syncing, and because of that, we needed to add the display notifications permission, which seems pretty reasonable for some people. But a lot of browsers and the security, especially in Chromium browsers, would turn off the Bitwarden extension if you didn't approve it. When this happens. So it immediately gets turned off, and then you have to hit the turn on button to get Bitwarden back. If you hit the cancel button, Bitwarden is actually removed, and you have to go into the settings and re-enable it. So I want to give a big shout out, thank you to Jason Penny, who is here, for helping our folks on Reddit figure out that this was actually okay. We had some messaging around that also on the community forums, but it was just a small hiccup. But yes, this is a thing. It's okay. You can go ahead and turn it on. And no, we're not going to be like giving you pop-ups and everything. It's only going to be used for some specific important things. And if you want to see, you can go look in our GitHub to see exactly what that entails. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is if you need help. We've implemented, still kind of like an experimental status, a smart search, basically an AI chatbot in search for asking questions that is very strictly restricted to Bitwarden assets. So this could be through Bitwarden blogs, help articles, and resource documents. So it's not going to give you some wild off-the-wall answer. It's still under experimental status, so if you see something that comes through that's not all quite right, please give us the thumbs down there and then tell us why, and we'll just make an additional adjustment. So here's one where you can simply ask, like, how do I give a user admin privileges? And it gave a pretty decent answer. You can start doing other things too, like, hey, tell me about how to do that step by step, and it will list out the step-by-step and also the sources for that. So, this is what that is. And if you really wanted to have some fun, you can even ask it to please write a haiku about the Bitwarden admin role, and it will write a haiku for you. So, and then also give you sources. So it's been pretty helpful. It has been more hit than miss, so that's very good. But it still needs some additional refinement. But if you have any questions, try here first. See what it says, and if it's good, please, I encourage you to give us feedback, thumbs up or thumbs down. Okay, we are approaching the end of our session here today. Does anybody have anything they would like to ask, anything they would like to comment on? Hosts, anything you'd like to add or talk about?
Sorry, I'm busy asking Smart Search to write me haikus.
Yeah, see what it comes up with. It's been interesting so far. It's been a really cool project that our web team has been working on. All right, so now we are in our final Bitwarden store giveaway. You know what? Has the pushback died? So before we get to this, yes. So really interesting. Has the pushback died down on requiring 2FA is the question. It's not that 2FA has been required. It's that new devices are being verified. So you don't actually need to have. It's not specifically a required 2FA because if you had logged into that device before, it's not going to need it. Like you wouldn't need it. It's only for new devices. When we launched it at 50% or something, and it was like 2 people had reached out needing support. So we believe, and we still do, and I'm in touch very closely with our customer success team and see all their reports. So far, very few people have been affected by it because they are mostly on devices they had already logged in from before or have access to their email and they're still logged in there. So this really hasn't been an obstacle for people. But on the bright side, it's also like tanking bot attacks because now there's no way for them to log in. So like great success on this. So it's been pretty happy. And yeah, if you have any 2FA set up, you're excluded from it. And yes, again, it's only for new devices that have never logged into Bitwarden before. So Absolutely. Thank you, Vivian. Recommend setting up two-factor authentication of any type. And if you need to set up like a backup, you can do so too. I have a backup for my wife prefers using email TOTP, but she also has her email. She's got that circular dependency on Bitwarden. So you can add more than one two-factor authentication at a time if you need to. I have her authenticator code, the TOTP code, in my Bitwarden Authenticator app. So if something happens and she needs access to something, she can just text me and I can just give her the code, and then she'll be able to log in. So it doesn't just have to be something that you do. You can also have a trusted partner also have access. You can, there's many ways to set up two-factor authentication and multiple at a time. This is about the same, about 19 or so. Sometimes we get to 30 on some big ones, depending on if there's been a big update. The giveaway hopefully brought some people in, but yes, as Vivian is saying, we end up getting thousands of people watching it later on YouTube when we post it there. So on our replay. So don't worry, you're all internet famous now. And now here we are in our final Bitwarden store giveaway. This is for store credit. It's not for any specific item. So you can see all the items in the store and take your pick from them. And this one is the same way. This is just the generic, no keyword. Just say Vault Hours 50, and you say here like this is the giveaway for store credit during Vault Hours 50. Same deal as we've done in the other Vault Hours. This one is just for store credit. So far we've given away 5 items and then store credit for you to pick what you want. So again, everyone here is eligible. Go ahead and submit to the store. And that's it. That's all we've got today. So does anybody have any last thoughts? All right then. Oh, go ahead, Vivian. I thought I heard your breath.
Oh, I was going to, Bert asked about audience for Vault Hours. So if anybody has ideas on how we can improve Vault Hours or any suggestions, we're also open to improving this event for everyone, making it
Thank
useful.
you. I'd forgotten to ask, because this is Vault Hours 50. We looked back in the past on how we've done stuff before. How can we improve this? How can we make Vault Hours more useful to you? Go ahead and say in the chat if there's anything that you want to see more of. For example, if you want to see more product people in here talking about the roadmap, or if you want to listen to an engineer bore you about some code, just please, any suggestions, throw them in chat. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and start playing us off with some music. I'm going to stick around for a while here and keep this going. So please put your suggestions in chat, and trust me, I'll be reading them all. And
Atomic says self-hosted setup. Wow, so like how to self-host, how to set up a self-host environment, a demo.
I'm pretty sure they've done that on Bitwarden Brilliance. I need to find a link. But
I was gonna say, I know we've definitely done it on Bitwarden Brilliance, and we also had, I think Kyle actually did it for Bitwarden Unified as well. So definitely a cool topic. I'm not sure if we've done one super recently, but we will absolutely take a look at that.
Ryan, what was the last code for the store credits?
Oh, there's no code for store credits.
Okay. Just mention maybe Vault Hours, right?
Yeah, just say Vault Hours. Maybe put store credits in there. It'll be one that whatever came in without a keyword will probably be lumped into that one for people who submit something. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get some music going. And yeah, I'll hang around here and chat for a little while. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask them, and I will do my best to answer them in chat. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today for Vault Hours 50.
Bye.